What's up? What's up? I'm back at this site again. I did a little video on it not too long ago. Don't know if it's on YouTube or Instagram, but either way. So before, the issue we were having was they were saying that the doors were blowing open. Which we were over pressurizing with this unit, which is if you're new or don't know, this is a DOAS unit, right? This is a restaurant that I'm in, and then we have exhaust fans. Again, this is a recount. Some of you may have seen this before, but if you haven't, we have exhaust fans for the kitchen hood, DOAS, and unfortunately these are not tied together. The kitchen hood runs on and modulates its temperature or its speed based on temperature. The DOAS is modulating based on building static. So the reason why I'm back here again today is they were saying that they couldn't open the door. It was extremely hard to open the door. You had to put a shoulder into it. And ultimately what ended up finding was we had an ice slug in our reference. We had an ice slug in there, and it just bouncing it all over the place. But in the process of finding that, we also found out that it was never really set up correctly, and we kept going off on low discharge air temp. So just like I did with the cooling, had to change the heating PID loop so that it would heat up quick enough to not trip the low discharge air temp. Made a bunch of changes, but we are now maintaining a very good split. Building pressure is pretty much spot on. And the changes that we had to made were down here. Commission unit. Heating setup. So had to change the period, which is part of the PID loop. Had to lower that down. That was at like 30 seconds, so lowered it to 10. Changed the heating gain, which is also a part of the PID loop. Integral proportional. That was at 0.8. Lowered that down to 0.2. The heating PAT, which is basically what it's doing there is it's looking ahead at the temperature of what it potentially could be. So I forgot the exact. Do you remember what PAT stood for? Anyways, it's looking ahead based on the current temperature, how fast it's rising, the whole nine, right? It looks at all the sensors and dictates. So this 90 seconds, it's anticipating what the temperature is going to be 90 seconds from now, kind of thing. The max change rate, that was down at 10%. And like I said, we're going off on low discharge, so jack that up to 30%. And what that's going to do is just going to allow it to go up or down by only a maximum of 30%. The lockout we left alone, the OAT differential left alone. So the reset was not on. I turned it on and set it to OAT, obviously, because this is a this is a DOAS unit. So by turning on the reset, I basically built in a curve. So my minimum is 70-degree discharge at 70 degrees outdoor ambient. 120 degrees at 20 degrees outdoor. So that is my throttling range, is from 20 degrees outside to 70 degrees outside, and it'll go from 120 degrees down to 70. And that is my whole modulating curve on my heating. And let's see here, I think we made a couple more changes. Yes, my heating warm-up time, what that is doing is when it fires off in low fire, and whatever this is set to, no matter what the demand is, it will hold it at low fire for that long. Well, this was set for 30 seconds, or sorry, 60 seconds. We lowered it to 30. The heating hold period, it's going to hold the current position based on the PAT, the outdoor air, and it will dictate like where the next step is in the modulation, but it will hold it for 40 seconds. And that is it. And we aren't tripping on any low discharge temp faults anymore. We aren't having that fault anymore, which I'm going to clear the log, which I like to clear the log each time, so if I come back I know that the alarm is true, accurate, and new.